What is going on, nerds and nerdettes? It's your boy Stevie B with this week's haul video. And as promised last week, we got a nice, cool little flea market find. A little story behind it. Never ceases to amaze me. People that don't know anything about comic books, and you got to be the one that busts their bubble on some stuff. But I did get some cool stuff, and probably retail for him, to be honest, because I felt like, I didn't want them to feel like I was trying to cheat them, but we'll get into them. Oh, but man, I am been watching some stuff. First of all, Peacemaker. We'll do some little mini reviews here. Peacemaker season 2. I gotta admit, man, I got through the first four episodes. I think I just finished the 5th episode, and I'm kind of watching it going, this whole, I don't know if you haven't watched it, he's got a portal to, an alternate dimension where he jumps through and his life is just great. Everything he wanted is in this other dimension, and he struggles with whether he should stay in the dimension where everybody hates him and he's wanted, and Rick Flag Sr.'s trying to kill him because he killed his son, and all this going on. And in the other dimension, his dad's still alive and is a hero, and his brother's still alive, and all this, and he's with the love of his life, Harcourt, and he's just struggling on whether he wants to be in the dimension where he belongs or be in the one that makes him happy. And I've just kind of been going, this dimensional jumping back and forth is kind of just getting old, and I'm over it. And then I watched this last episode, the latest one. I think it's episode 5. It may be 6. Can't remember, but you know which one we're. By the time you watch this, there'll be another episode ahead. But you'll know if you're keeping up with it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But then they just dropped a bomb. They dropped a bomb, and now I'm like, oh my God, now I'm wanting to watch it. Now I'm into it. So it took me a good 4 or 5 episodes to get into it, but now that they dropped this bomb, I can't wait to see where it goes from there. I also finally watched Fantastic Four. Now, I have gone on record as saying that this movie is destined to suck, and I don't think that there's anything they can do to make it not suck. And I blamed it on Mr. Fantastic. I think that character's terrible. Never been a Fantastic Four fan. I know you're going to blow up my comments, which is cool because I need the interaction, to be honest with you. But I've never been a Fantastic Four fan, really. And so all the Fantastic Four movies really kind of just sucked for me. And this one, it didn't suck as bad as I thought it was going to suck. Can I say that? I'll give it the positives. Okay, the positives is man, they wanted to do it Kirby style, and they nailed that. Okay, they got the Jack Kirby vibe down pat, with the costumes, the set designs, and everything. I mean, it looks like a page right out of some Jack Kirby Fantastic Four. I'll give them that. And that's just kind of where it ends for me. I watched it. It took me 2 tries to watch it because I fell asleep the first time, and about 20 minutes into it, I was like, because it's a slow roll. It was a slow burn, and I think it's been out long enough now that if you don't want any spoilers, then you might want to just skip to the comic books. But because I'm just going to talk about it, it's been out long enough. I think etiquette dictates that I can talk about it freely now. because it is on digital download now. but but like I said, the attempt to bring Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four to life on the big screen is a huge success. They nailed it to the wall. But that being said, like I said, it was a slow burn. The one thing that I was glad, remember, I said that Mr. Fantastic is a crappy character, and that you just can't make that stretching, being able to stretch, you just can't make that cool. There's no way to make it cool. It can't come across as anything but cheesy on the big screen. In the cartoon, hey, you know what? You can suspend a belief, all you want and go with it because it's animated, it's a cartoon. But in live action, it just comes off as really, really cheesy. And I was happy to see that they really kind of downplayed his stretching ability. They really didn't, focus a lot on that and focused more on his intelligence, which I think was a smart move. It took the cheese factor down a little bit. So it wasn't as cheesy as the previous versions of the Fantastic Four, but it moved along pretty slow. I wasn't too mad about the female Silver Surfer, Shalabo, however you pronounce her name, Shalabo. But I wasn't too mad about that. I know that was a big stink when they gender swapped, Silver Surfer and brought her in as the Silver Surfer instead of Norrin Rad. So I wasn't really that twisted about that. And her part in the movie was actually pretty good. Interaction with her and Johnny Storm was actually pretty entertaining. I didn't bring me anything to drink so I get dry throat really bad. The downfalls of being a smoker. But so that was mildly entertaining. Herbie, they tried to make cute. They tried to give him the Groku treatment, the crypto treatment where he was going to be the little, and it didn't really pan out. The special effects for Galactus were really good. I give him that. I liked Galactus and his part in it. Now some of the takeaways that just kind of made me cringe a little bit was anytime Mr. Fantastic did stretch, it came across cheesy, like I knew it would. I was expecting it, but like I said, I'm glad they downplayed that and they didn't really do a whole lot of that. But the running gag with the thing, what time is it, Ben? What time is it? Through the whole movie, what time is it? I don't really say that. And then when he finally says it, it's like some grand reveal, like that's supposed to be the moment where the movie theater audience stands up and gives a standing ovation because he said it, and it just fell flat. It was cheesy and dumb, and the whole running gag was dumb. And then they gave him a beard, which just looked ridiculous. I mean, that is Marvel's version of Superman's mustache being CGC'd out. The Thing beard, ugly, terrible, looked just dumb, looked just absolutely ridiculous on him. So I know I'm being harsh, and you're waiting for me to go, this movie was just a shit sandwich. But I will say this, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Was it better than the first iteration? I put it on par, maybe. Rise of the Silver Surfer in my opinion, was just as good, maybe a little cheesier because they, Reed Richards' stretchy stuff was more prominent in it. But was it better than the reboot? Yeah, definitely better than the reboot. It was sad when they said, "Oh man, the first one sucked so bad. We're going to reboot it, do it again," and then they made it worse. And this one, like I said, it was on par for me. It was just okay, like kind of like the Rise of the Silver Surfer and the previous and that iteration of Fantastic Four. I actually liked the characters in the first iteration. Well, not the first. The first one was that cheesy low budget one that people had bootleg copies of everywhere, but you know what I'm talking about. The first theatrical release, I actually liked those characters better. You know, I liked the actors that played the characters better than I did the ones that played this iteration. So all in all, I would give it a D plus. Sorry, I know a lot of you like it, and to be fair, the fact that I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan to start with probably influences my opinion of the movie. If I was a huge Fantastic Four fan, then it might score a little higher, or it may score lower. So I'm a big Batman fan, and I just berated the Batman movies. I'm like, I don't like them, except for the Batman, the Patterson Batman. Loved it, so I think they went in the right direction. But that's a whole nother subject. But anyway, if you're a fan of Fantastic Four, if you're a fan of Jack Kirby, you'll love this movie. I recommend you go see it if you like that old school style. I think it was kind of... I think the big battle scene with Galactus kind of left you wanting. You know, it was like, it's over. I mean, it was that easy. I mean, relatively speaking, it was, you know, it came across as, wow, that wasn't the epic battle that you had hoped for. But like I said, I'm going to give it a D plus. And I'm on the fence between a C minus and a D plus. It kind of fits somewhere in between there. I probably won't watch it again, but I didn't think I wasted 2 hours of my life watching it the first time. We'll say that. Anyway, but that is my little mini review of Fantastic Four. Like I said, if you're a fan of Fantastic Four, if you're a big fan of Kirby, and you want to see a comic book accurate Jack Kirby style Fantastic Four movie, then you will love this movie. It is great. If you're a casual Fantastic Four fan, you're gonna go like I did. And if you're not a Fantastic Four fan at all, you're gonna give it a D plus probably. But anyway, let us get on to some comic books. I've rambled on for 13 and a half minutes over my movie reviews, but I feel like I've got to have some kind of monologue before we get into it. What I got here is a flea market find. There's a local flea market here where I live. I was at a yard sale a couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks as of when this video will post, which will be in like October. I think it's the 29th now, 29th Monday. It's early Monday, like a little after midnight. But you'll probably see this, in October, first week of October. But anyway, neither here nor there. But a couple weeks ago, we went to a yard sale, and the lady had, I saw some, clues that thought maybe this woman has some comic books. These people have comic books. They had like superhero action figures and superhero movies and superhero. So I asked, and she said, "No, I don't." And she said, "My husband is big into comic books though, but he's not selling any of his." And so I gave her my number and said, "Hey, if he's looking to buy or sell, hit up your boy." And some older lady overheard me, and she says, "Oh, these people at this flea market, they have a basket full of comic books, and they don't know anything about them." But she said somebody offered them $100 for all of them, and they turned them down. She said because they said they got some pretty valuable ones in there. And I said, "Oh, well, I'll go check it out." So I did. And what I found when I got there was some nothing really valuable. Let's put it this way. There were a few early issue Hulks that would have been 100, triple digit figures if they weren't ripped to shit. They looked like they'd been put through a paper shredder. Somebody wiped their butt with them and then pissed on them. They were just beat to shit to the point where I wasn't even going to even entertain trying to offer them. And I think that's the ones that they were talking about. So whenever you go to a place where somebody doesn't know anything about comics, here's what happens. They don't understand condition. They look up, "Oh my God, this is a Hulk 180. It's worth $2,000, and near mint, it's worth $2,000. But when you look like your dog played with it and wrestled with it and peed on it and the cover is detached and ripped in half and missing pages, then it's not worth shit." And so I pulled up this stack of comics, and I believe there's 14 in here. And I said, "How much you want for these?" And she says, "How much you got?" And I said, "About 14. And she says, "Well, make me an offer, and I'll tell you if you're in the ballpark." And I'm like, "Well, I can't buy them and sell them to you for you. You tell me what you want, and I'll." So I said, "Okay," and I'm trying to be nice. Okay, I'm trying to be really nice. So I told her $15, and she went, "Oh, no, that's not even close. I'd lose my job for that." And I was like, I said, "Quite honestly, these books are not worth that much money. They're not major keys." And she says, "Oh, somebody told me we had books in there worth over $100. And I was like, "Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about." And I explained to her about condition. And I said, "If they were worth $100, I'd have them up here with me and trying to make you an offer on them." But I said, "But the books I grabbed," I said, "there's nothing in here worth over $3. And she says, "Oh, no." And she goes, "Whoa." And I said, "I'll give you $20 for them." But I said, I'll put them back for $20. I said, I think, that's more than fair for these. And when we go through them, you can tell me if I screwed them over, which I didn't. But they reluctantly took it. And I said, "Man," I'll look these books up for you and I will show you what they're worth. There's nothing in this stack that's worth more than about $3. Except for one. There is one in there that would be worth $30 in near mint, but it's not near mint. Anyway, let's get into them anyway. So this is what I ended up getting. I did some run fillers. I have some Superman Man of Steel. I have #1, but I didn't have the first 5. So they had a couple of these, and they had #2. And you can see, I doubt you may not be able to see it in here. There you go. See this? It's got a nice crease down the middle. And what else was there? Oh, and do it this way. And one right here across Lois's leg. So it's, and I explained to her this. These are 80s books, and 80s books should be in pretty near mint condition, and these are not. I said most of these are not. But anyway, you got #2. She had #4. This one's in pretty good condition. No real spine ticks. A little bit of spine roll on it, as you can see. You can see right there. But #4. No #3. #5. Again, pretty good condition. But even in mint condition, these are $3 books. Number 6. Oops. Am I skipping over anything? Oh, no. Okay. Number 6. This one, little dirt, a little stained up here. But I dig the covers, so I was okay with giving them a couple bucks a piece for them. And then we got a little run of some Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine. Got a little 4-issue run of these. These were in decent condition. I picked out the ones that were in decent condition. Again, this is number 1. Again, with the... It's hard to get it to show up on here, but along the spine, it's curled up. It's curled up like the other one. Again, there you go. You can kind of see it when the light hits it, but not in bad condition. And number 2, this one's got a few little spine ticks, but still, I ain't mad at it. Oh, well, I'm breezing through these, and then this one's the first appearance of Sapphire Sticks. Calico, and the debut of the Princess Bar, so a little minor key. My bad, I forgot to mention that. And then again, number 2. Number 3, again, they all have this spine roll on them. None of these were bagged and boarded, by the way. They were all just piled up. That's why those spines rolled. They were sitting in a basket, and they were, you know how they are when they sit, and they kind of bow up. And that's what these were. Number 4. So nice. They're in decent condition. Some nice little Wolvie covers. Books, so I was okay to get those. And next up, this one I believe was the one that's worth 30 bucks in mint. And this one's not in bad shape, but there is a little foxing, a little staining on it. So I would say in the condition it's in, it may be a $10 book. But Avengers 293, first Chairman Kang, first full Kang Nebula, first Kang Cobra cameo, and first Kang of Other Earth. So some Kang stuff. But you can see it's got some staining down the side here. So not mint, but I wasn't too pissed about it, but in that condition, like I said, maybe a $10. I might have beat her a little bit on the price on that one. And next up, we got Avengers 296, first Mesozoic Kang, not Kane. With that cool She-Hulk cover. And then Avengers 291, this is first appearance of Leviathan. First Kang Orphan, first cameo of Kang Nebula, and first Team Council of Cross-Time Kangs. So, bunch of Kang stuff in this one. So that's why I picked them up. Next up, we got the only Incredible Hulk that she had that wasn't just beat to hell, and it's still kind of messed up. Maybe this is the one that was worth 30 bucks. Marvel Superheroes featuring Incredible Hulk number 82. But this one would have been worth some money if it wasn't, a little pretty chopped up on the spines, a little chopped up, but still pretty cool cover. I was happy to get it. And then we got Fantastic Four 269, first appearance of Terminus. Again, get a stain right there, but cool cover. And Terminus, little minor key. And then this one is a cover buy. I like this just for the cover. dig that She-Hulk cover. And yeah, John Byrne. I thought so, but I wasn't sure. But again, with the spine ticks. But it's Fantastic Four 284. That John Byrne She-Hulk cover. Again, with the spine ticks and stuff like that. But, so, you know, I thought $20 was fair. You know, let me know in the comments. I think she feels like I took advantage of her. But I think for 14 books, not near mint, I think I gave her a pretty fair price. She probably dug those out, and she had somebody else that didn't know anything about comics go, well, that's $100 book. And they weren't. But there were some Incredible Hulk issues pre-100 in there that probably would have been up there. But I promise you, I know y'all are thinking low grade is better than no grade. These were no grade. You couldn't grade these. They were falling apart. The covers were all coming off of them, ripped up, wadded up, and they were so bad that they're not even reader copies. But at any rate, so that's why I didn't get them. But anyway, we have gone on for 25 minutes. I gave you my little spiel on my little Fantastic Four review. I really suck at movie reviews, and that's why I don't do them very often, but I'm trying to get better at it, trying to be a little more articulate with what I'm trying to say, and that's usually my problem. I can usually go, oh, I liked it, but then you say, well, what did you like about it? And I go, oh, it just was a good movie, I guess. So I'm trying to be a little more give a little more information about it, what I liked, what I didn't like, and try to do a little better job for you guys, because you guys deserve it. But anyway, that is going to do it for the haul video. Before you go, please do all those YouTube things we like for you to do. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. And next week, be a smaller haul, mostly Midtown, but I got one good one. I think maybe you'll be here by then. But we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.